Well, last night, WUSA 9 hosted a high-stakes D.C. mayoral debate with candidates clashing on the issues that matter most to you, the D.C. voter. This morning, we're breaking down who stood out, who struggled, and what it could mean for the race ahead. Joining us live to help sort this all out is University of Maryland political science professor Dr. Breanna Gray with her analysis of the, let's say, how the candidates did. I don't want to say winners and losers here, but Dr. Gray, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning and sharing your insight.
Certainly. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start with this, your overall impression of how these two candidates address the issues that affect DC residents.
Yes, so I think that each candidate had a very strong platform, proposed platform. I think they sort of entered the game with very strong convictions around housing, affordable housing, and the preservation of housing in particular. I think they also brought to light concerns around healthcare and access to affordable and sustainable healthcare and some of the systematic issues with healthcare in the city. They've also talked about juvenile crime and some of the other factors involved in crime in the city. So I think they brought to light some of the real challenges and concerns facing all district residents, but especially Ward 7, who was the host for this particular evening's events.
Let's dive a little deeper into the teen curfew and what should be done about these so-called teen takeovers. They were at opposing ends with this. How effectively do you think the candidates addressed this and also the broader public safety challenges that we're seeing in D.C.?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And I think candidate Janice Lewis George presented a very strong perspective about how, in previous eras, this may have been something that we could withstand because we were not a federalized city. But the concern around teen curfews today is that there's a federal presence in the city, and that presents particular challenges for youth of color, so Black and brown youth who are encountering police presence in more frequency than other youth in different parts of the city. And so with federalization being, top of mind for many lawmakers, we want to make sure that we're certain about the safety of our citizens and especially the safety of our teenagers. I think Kenyon McDuffie also presented some sort of historic cases about why this curfew is important. He mentioned that it's not an option for us to do nothing. We have to do something. And so, maybe extending the curfew, extending the time of the curfew.
Yeah, also a big issue now. We always talk about how everything is so expensive, and that includes utility bills. They talked about the rising cost here. What did you think about the candidates, how they handle this topic? This affects everyone in the district.
It absolutely does. And with Pepco costs rising and the rates of our utilities, what they are, I think Janice Lewis George did a fantastic job talking about how DC has one of the highest costs of utilities in the country. And I think she presented strong evidence that shows that there are other ways that we could invest in our city to reduce the cost of utilities. She mentioned solar opportunities and allowing residents to opt in to solar utility formats. And so I think that was a strong indicator. I think there were also concerns about accepting funds from some utility providers for campaign donations. And so there was a strong conversation around transparency in campaigning and transparency in sort of carrying out your official duties as mayor.
Lastly, who do you think gained the most ground after last night's debate? Again, I didn't want to couch it as a winner and a loser here, but who gained the most ground in your opinion?
Yes, I certainly think that Janice Lewis George made strong cases, specific cases about what she would do on the first day of her mayoral reign or introduction to the mayorship. And, I think we know the Kenyon McDuffie's story. We know his history in DC. There are four generations of McDuffies in DC. And so I think there have been people who are more familiar with this candidate. He served in DC Council. He attended schools here. And so I think there are people that are certainly more familiar with Kenyon McDuffie, but I certainly think that Janice Lewis George presents a strong challenge to that establishment politics that I think was convincing to voters perhaps last night.
Very interesting take. Okay, that's Dr. Breanna Gray, the University of Maryland. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.